Have you ever had one of those moments where your feet just slide out from underneath you, out of nowhere, and just kind of randomly your feet slide out and you fall down and you feel like a clumsy klutz and a fool? I had one of those experiences earlier this week. See, my wife and I thought we would take advantage of some of this beautiful weather that we've been having and go for a hike. But it hasn't been warm enough yet for all the snow to melt away. And in fact, there's places where the snow has just been packed down and it is slick ice. Well, while we were hiking, because our lungs are still kind of new to this elevation, we had to stop several times just to catch our breath. And one of those times I planted my feet and looked up to the sky and take in a deep breath and just enjoy God's creation. And that's when all of a sudden my feet just slide. What I thought was secure is completely not secure. And I go tumbling to the ground and start doing some of those crazy dances trying to catch my balance. Well, as soon as I got back up and rubbed out the bumps and bruises, one of the thoughts that hit me is life is a lot like that. See, sometimes we can get so comfortable and so at ease with everything that's going on that we become too comfortable. And that it is that moment that we are at risk of falling and humiliating ourselves. In fact, in Scripture, Paul understood this concept, and that's why in 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 12, he gives them this advice. Therefore, let anyone who thinks that he stands take heed lest he fall. It's simple advice, but it's so true. That when we think we're standing firm, we better be careful, because it just might be then that we fall. And so take precaution or take heed, but to take precaution so that you don't fall. See, it would have been a lot better for me if I would leaned up against a tree and held on to that while I took my breath and looked at the sky. That way, even if my feet did start to slip, I could stop myself from falling and having this awful humiliation. I love the way that it is translated in the Message. This same verse reads this way: you are not exempt. You can fall flat on your face as easily as anyone else. Forget about self-confidence. It is useless. Cultivate God confidence. See, I love this idea of self-confidence is useless. We can't depend on ourselves. We will fall, we will stumble, but to cultivate, to build, and to harvest God confidence, to become confident in God. The psalmist says, when I need help, I call out for help, and my help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. What a place for our help to come from. Here's this idea that we don't depend on ourselves, but that we depend on God. And so even when we think we are standing firm, we still need to anchor ourselves through prayer and through the scriptures to God and trust in Him, because He is in complete control and holding us safe. So no matter where you're at, whether you are falling or whether you think you are standing firm, my encouragement to you is to anchor yourself to God, to take heed so that you don't fall. I'm Eddie Stillwell with the Moreno Valley Church of Christ, and that's your Friday Focus.